is Caribbean News Desk. I'm Dennis Chabrol. First, the headlines. The Bahamas has denied that it has been sending Bahamas-born children to Haiti without birth certificates. Dominica's new cabinet named, but not without expected criticism from the opposition. The ruling St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party teams up with the Division Party to challenge a three-party opposition coalition for the next general election. Caribbean pop star Rihanna gets top creative post at a German firm. And the Sugar Association of the Caribbean aims to increase and maintain market share in the United States and Europe. Details coming up.
One Caribbean, one people, one nation. Facing the same destiny. So separated we are as one. Let's come together. One market economy. Caribbean is how it should be. Let's support. Carry on for Caribbean unity. It takes you. It takes me for Caribbean unity.
The Bahamas' Foreign Minister Fred Mitchell on Tuesday denied that his country has been sending children born in the Bahamas to Haiti without birth certificates in the company of their Haitian parents who have been living there illegally. The issue has come to the fore following the Bahamas' crackdown on migrants who are living and working there illegally. The claim was made by Haiti's ambassador to the Organization of American States, or OAS, Bocchit Edmond, after Mr. Mitchell's presentation to a special meeting of the Permanent Council in Washington. Speaking through an interpreter, Mr. Edmond told the council that children born to Haitian parents in the Bahamas are being denied citizenship.
When you ask that child or those children to leave with his or her parents, to leave literally with nothing, how can they turn around and show that they were born in the Bahamas when they have distinctly nothing in paper, on paper to show it, proving the birth in the Bahamas? So deporting the parents is one thing. We would very much exhort you to consider that for those cases to which I allude here, of youngsters that are born in the Bahamas, surely they should be accorded and afforded something in hand to show this, should they subsequently wish to avail themselves of the possibility of opting for Bahamian citizenship.
He also expressed concern that the Bahamas has been refusing work permit requests. He added that Haitians requesting certificates of identity for their children are told to go to the Haitian embassy to acquire passports, but there is no guarantee that they'll receive residency. In response, the Bahamas Foreign Minister denied that Bahamian-born children are being sent packing to Haiti without Bahamian birth certificates to prove their country of birth.
The children who were deported from the Bahamas a couple of weeks ago, and I think there is also a repatriation this morning, are children who came with their parents on boats as recently as a month ago, and they were housed with their parents. Parents, of course, often object to children being separated from themselves. And in every case, the Department of Social Services has superintendence over the care and conduct of the children, and the children are kept with their parents. So these children are not children that were born in the Bahamas and have any constitutional entitlement to apply. They came with their parents a couple of weeks ago, or as recently as October, to the Bahamas.
The Bahamas' Foreign Minister explained to the OAS Permanent Council that children are entitled to birth certificates within 21 days of birth, but many parents do not comply. In cases where parents cannot produce a birth certificate, they can acquire an affidavit of birth supported by documents found at the hospital where their children were born. Faced with a three-party alliance known as Team Unity, the governing Labour Party in St. Kitts and Nevis has indicated that it is teaming up formally with the Nevis Reformation Party, or NRP. The St. Kitts-based WinFM radio station reports that Prime Minister Denzil Douglas announced Tuesday that his Labour Party and the NRP will this week Thursday unveil a draft agreement formalizing what he described as a spirit of cooperation, collaboration and commitment for the national good. The Douglas administration already has one division in its cabinet, Foreign Affairs Minister Patrice Nisbet. The Prime Minister says building on and strengthening the bonds between St. Kitts and Nevis is important to him. His statement comes at a time when the Concerned Citizens Movement, or CCM-led Nevis Island administration continues to complain that the Nevis Island administration is being treated unfairly by the federal government led by Dr. Douglas. Premier Vance Amory says budgetary assistance given to Nevis when the NRP was in office continues to be denied to his administration. The Prime Minister, in his recent budget address, appeared to suggest that the current NIA is lacking in vision. His critics suggest that weakened by the absence of former senior government ministers Sam Condor and Dr. Timothy Harris, Prime Minister Douglas is attempting to forge closer ties with the Nevis Reformation Party in a bid to counter the challenge posed by Timothy Harris's led Team Unity that's made up of the CCM, the People's Action Movement, and the People's Labour Party of Harris and Condor. Dr. Douglas, in his latest announcement, speaks of the importance of cooperation and collaboration being the principles that guide relations between St. Kitts and Nevis. His critics, however, interpret this to mean relations between his Labour Party and the NRP, which is the opposition in Charlestown. The Prime Minister has said that he is baffled and concerned by the behavior of those who wish only to break and destroy the bonds between the federal government and the Nevis Island administration. Just who he was referring to wasn't explained. The Prime Minister's announcement this week clears the air on what Team Unity has maintained all along, that Dr. Douglas's governing party is an alliance with the opposition in Charlestown, the Nevis Reformation Party. The election date has not yet been announced, but the battle lines are now being officially drawn. Team Unity is often referred to by the Douglas faction as a concoction. The nation awaits the label that will be slapped on the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, Nevis Reformation Party arrangement by the Team Unity group. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt has called on Dominicans to accept his newly sworn cabinet as one of inclusion. Skerritt named a 17-member cabinet minus the Attorney General. He won 16 of the 21 seats in the December 8 election that continues to be mired in controversy. Prime Minister Skerritt.
You would see from the structure and makeup of the new cabinet of ministers that I have chosen to broaden the pool of talent from which we shall draw as a government. I have deliberately gone outside the mainstream of partisan political activity to recruit 3 quote-unquote civilian ministers. They each bring a wealth of talent and fresh creative ideas to the task of running government on a day-to-day basis. It is my hope that the acceptance of the invitation to serve would be applauded and not ridiculed. I believe in this country today, there is too much demonization of individuals offering themselves for national service.
However, in response, opposition and United Workers' Party UWP leader Lennox Linton said the composition of the cabinet is jobs for the boys and girls.
Those numbers have not served us well. We are actually on record as being the largest cabinet in the OECS, managing the smallest economy, delivering the worst economic management results. So increasing the size now is it's probably going to put us into even more incompetence, into even more poorer results in terms of the key economic indicators. So I'm not. That's Mr. Skerritt's choice. We don't want to have to say too much about it, except that it's more of the same. Mr. Skerritt has indicated his love for big government and big cabinets. And you see a lot of jobs for the boys and the girls. That's all it is. Not real going for efficiency in the public interest or better management of resources. Nothing like that.
Dominica's opposition leader Lennox Linton. Pop singer Rihanna, who has Guyanese and Barbadian roots, will from next month be the creative director for the women's sport clothing line marketed by German multinational Puma. Chief Executive Officer of Puma says Rihanna was a natural choice for his company, and her global profile, her charisma and individuality and ambition make her a perfect ambassador for the company's brand. The singer from Barbados will work with Puma to design and customize classic Puma styles, as well as create new styles to add to the Puma product portfolio. The firm went on to say that the 26-year-old singer will provide a fresh, innovative, and non-traditional impetus to the sports clothing line, adding that she'll have a direct influence on Puma products starting in 2015. The singer will also participate in Puma's new Forever Faster marketing campaign, along with athletes such as Jamaica's Usain Bolt and Argentine soccer player Sergio Aguero. The St. Lucia government announced on Tuesday that its geothermal resource development project has received $2.8 million in grants from the World Bank and the New Zealand government. In a statement, the Ministry of Sustainable Development, Energy and Science and Technology said it hosted last week a delegation of technical experts from the World Bank, the UK Department for International Development, and the New Zealand government to discuss the project. Besides funding, the delegation also discussed land issues and the development of a public engagement strategy with the people of Sufrir, located in the island's southwest, as well as employment and technical training opportunities, removal of vegetation, the use of water, management of discharges, and respect for indigenous cultural icons and practices. The St. Lucia government says that the geothermal resource development project in Sufrir is a key pillar of St. Lucia's sustainable energy program, as it has the potential to provide a steady base load electricity, stabilize energy prices way into the future, attract investment as a result. According to a 2008 study by the Trinidad branch of the University of the West Indies, St. Lucia's estimated geothermal potential is 680 megawatts. An early attempt to tap that potential stalled in the 1980s due to technical problems. Improved diagnostic tests for Ebola will be available in the coming months, according to an official of the World Health Organization. The disease has killed over 6,000 people, mainly in Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone in West Africa. A meeting has been held in Geneva as part of the efforts to improve diagnostic tests for the deadly virus. Derek Mbatha reports.
The meeting in Geneva brought together regulators, researchers, clinicians, and people from the countries affected by the Ebola outbreak to discuss the needs for new diagnostics for the killer disease. One of the participants was the Foundation for Innovative New Diagnostics, FIND. It has worked with WHO to develop diagnostic tests for tuberculosis and neglected tropical diseases. Mark Perkins, Chief Scientific Officer at FIND, which is now working on diagnostics for Ebola, said participants in the meeting laid three primary goals for improved diagnostics.
One was to shorten the turnaround time for diagnosis beyond what is currently possible with the deployable or /mobile laboratories. The second was to move out and allow rapid response teams, those intervention teams that go when they hear about some febrile cases, hear about some people looking like they have Ebola, hear about fever and contacts of Ebola patients. They go into the villages and assess those people to equip those people with tests that they can use on site. And the third would be insights such as obstetrics, hospitals or wards, birthing centers, trauma centers, where people will not get care unless they can prove that they're Ebola negative, to allow patients to get access to wet care, if you will, because they can prove they're Ebola negative.
Dr. Francis Musi, focal point for new Ebola diagnostics at WHO, said that in the three affected countries, there are now 19 mobile labs that are operational, and 3 more are going to be deployed.
These labs are doing a very good job, but the problem is that the technology they used, and because of the way they are located, it takes several hours to detect Ebola with these systems. It may actually take sometimes longer than this. And those labs are far away from the patients.
Dr. Musi said there are 2 types of rapid diagnostics that are being developed and were reviewed at the meeting. He said the experts believe that the tests will be available in the next few months and there is need to be ready to use them.
It's very important that we don't stand here saying, okay, now we have the test, what do we do with them? So we need to prepare in order to be ready to deploy them in the field as soon as they are available. So, for example, we need to see at what level of the healthcare systems we are going to deploy them, what is needed in terms of, for example, training, and so on.
Dr. Musi said there are already 19 submissions for the diagnostics tests by companies. Among these tests, he added, there are 5 or 6 that are like rapid pregnancy tests, but still require laboratory evaluations to validate the manufacturer's claims about their effectiveness. Derek Mbata, United Nations.
The Sugar Association of the Caribbean, or SAC, has agreed to work closely with the Caribbean Communities Council for Trade and Economic Development to increase exports of the sweetener to the European Union and the United States. The Guyana-based CARICOM headquarters says that a SAC board of directors made the decision during a December 12 to 13 conference in Guyana. Sugar production in the Caribbean increased by 13% in 2013-2014 period to 511,000 tons, according to the SAC. And that's it for Caribbean News Desk for today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dennis Chabrol. Don't forget to visit our website at caribnewsdesk.com. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/CaribNewsDesk, and on Twitter we're at twitter.com/DemWaves.